Welcome to the Goalbusters Expert Peak Productivity Tips podcast, where top business experts get just 7 minutes to answer 5 rapid-fire questions about what they do and how they stay productive. Each episode is packed with actionable insights to help boost your efficiency and achieve your goals. Let's dive in and unlock the secrets to peak performance.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Robin J. Emden and I'm an accountability coach and the author of Get Resultsology, The Science of Getting Stuff Done. I work with people who run their own business. No boss, distractions everywhere, and never enough hours in the day. Together, we cut through the noise, sharpen their focus, and follow through on the big ideas that actually move the needle. That's what I call the momentum formula. Do it today, profit tomorrow, and repeat. So, if that sounds like the kind of breakthrough that you've been looking for, then you're in exactly the right place. And speaking of being in exactly the right place, I am delighted to welcome our guest expert today, Fabi Paolini. Fabi is a brand message architect who helps coaches, consultants, and experts attract premium power buyer clients by developing their angle of mastery, transforming their messaging from generic to category defining. Fabi, welcome to Goalbusters.
Thank you so much for having me here.
You're extremely welcome. Whereabouts in the world are you, Fabi?
I am in Miami. I'm from Venezuela, but I live in Miami and I've been here for the last 11 years.
Oh, wow. That sounds fascinating. Too fascinating for me. I could go off at tangents talking to you about all of that, but perhaps we should do the questions instead. After all, that's why we're here. Shall I put the clock up on the screen?
Yes, let's go.
Perfect. Okay. And there it goes. Fabi, could you tell me, please, who is your ideal client?
Perfect. So I work with coaches, consultants, professional service providers, experts essentially who have real expertise and have proven results. And they're typically doing quite well in their business. They're not necessarily new to it, but there's something off that's preventing them from really scaling their business and bringing in more clients.
Yes, something off. Absolutely. Completely understand that feeling. All right. So that is describing also a little bit of the problem you solve, but I think it's a lot more complicated than that. So if you'd like to dive a little bit deeper into the problem or problems that you solve for your clients, that would be perfect.
Absolutely. So what's going on for most of the experts that I talk to is that they believe that they have a marketing problem, that they're not converting correctly because they need more leads or they need more visibility, when in reality, what's typically going on is that they have a messaging problem. They're either being too generic in the way in which they're communicating about what they do and who they help, or they're accidentally becoming what I like to call the Ursula, where they're speaking to the poor, unfortunate souls. There's a Little Mermaid reference for you. So these are people who are so stuck in their problems, they're not really in a place to invest in solving it. So what we do and the work that we focus on is really helping them shift their message in a way that makes it much more effective so that they're speaking to power buyers. And these are people with urgency, with vision, and the willingness to invest into solving their problems right now. And what that does ultimately is it shifts everything. It shifts their leads, their calls, their conversions, and even the results that their clients are getting as well.
Yes, thank you. I'm stunned into silence there because I'm actually listening intently. That's amazing. Thank you. I completely relate to what you're saying. It makes a great deal of sense, which is genuinely why I'm like, this is good. All right, but we need to move on. So what is one valuable free action that the audience can implement that will help them to solve this problem at least a little bit for themselves?
Okay, so a big part of the reason why this problem is happening in the first place, like I was saying before, is that oftentimes people's messaging, and when I say messaging, I mean your content, whether this is a post, whether a podcast episode, a YouTube video, an email, a webinar, your content tends to sound too simple and too similar to other people. And what they're missing is something that I like to call your angle of mastery. For me, your angle of mastery is essentially your big idea, the way in which you're communicating, your philosophy, your perspective, what makes you different. It's literally your angle. And so one action that you can take right now is really taking a close look at your content and thinking and asking yourself, is this content really showing a different perspective than everybody else. So if you're a coach or you're a consultant, you're an expert, whatever it is that you do, look at the content from people around you. Are you doing things that are somewhat similar to them? Because in today's world, especially with AI, make having everything to sound too similar makes you forgettable. And what you want to do is make sure that you're speaking to power. You're speaking from a place of power and you're communicating what you do in a way that sounds compelling. So my big tip or action that you can take right now is to take a look at your content to make sure that it's coming across as insightful, that you're making a case for what you do, and you're showcasing that angle of mastery that is really uniquely yours.
Again, leaning into and hanging on your every word. Absolutely fascinating. Thank you so much. So now that we have a little bit of a better understanding of what you do, and I put in the word little bit because I only give you 3 minutes, so that's not really fair. But let's dive briefly also into goal busting, which is focusing on how to maximize productive time to achieve your business goals. Fabi, could you share any tips or advice for someone looking to improve their productivity habits?
Absolutely. So we run a multiple six-figure business and we work from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. So I can tell you, like, I am truly an expert at productivity. And on top of that, I have 3 daughters. So that should tell you enough, right? So for me, the biggest shift or the biggest focus that you can have is getting ruthlessly specific about what actually moves the needle in your business and really working on those things, right? Having a message that is really, really clear, that is really focused, makes a big difference in that because you don't waste time talking to people who are not the right fit, but focusing on the work that is really going to move the needle and create the biggest ahas or insights for your audience so that you bring more of the right people in.
Yeah, again, absolutely brilliant. Completely agree with you. And 3 daughters, wow, where do you find the time? Goodness me, what a stressful thought that is. Okay, I'm sure they're gorgeous as well. But let's move on. All right, so what should I have asked you today that I didn't? And your answer, please.
So you should have asked me, how do you know if your messaging is the problem? And basically for that, the answer is that if you're getting leads, but they're not converting, or you're attracting people that say to you, I love what you do. It's not the right time. I'll come back later. Or this is exactly what I need. Let me get back to you. And they disappear. And your conversions aren't as high as you expect them to be, or you want them to be given your expertise. That is totally a messaging problem. Your messaging is basically calling in the wrong people. And the good news, though, is that it is fixable. You don't need a bigger audience. What you need is a clear, more strategic message instead.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of the big things in marketing is, you referred to them earlier, talking about people that may not actually be your target market. One of the common phrases is you don't want the tire kickers, and I always feel that's a horrible thing to call someone. But if someone either they can't afford you, or they just aren't ready to make a decision, or they're ultimately not the ideal client for you, but they will waste an awful lot of your time, and you just don't want that. And you're right, you have to be able to identify who these people are. Sometimes you can just serve them by passing on good material that they can help themselves to, but that doesn't mean necessarily that it's something that you need to be doing with them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that just focusing on speaking to the right people and making sure that your content attracts the right people is the best productivity hack that you can have, because you don't waste time both on content and on conversations or anything that is not really moving the needle for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And with AI as well, I mean, everybody's blown away by what AI can do, but it is generating a lot. People haven't caught on completely yet. It's generating a lot of the same stuff for thousands of people, and people
the same.
are catching on very quickly that, oh, I've read this 100 times today already.
Exactly. That's
All right, so there we go. We've finished into the 7 minutes, and actually it. Genuinely, I mean, I think I gave you too much time. You packed so much in. I think that was amazing. You did 7 minutes worth of content in at least 5. And I wish I had more questions for you, but the format doesn't allow that. So thank you so much. That's absolutely brilliant. All right. So at this point, I do have another question for you. It's a 2-parter. Part 1 is, how can people reach you, the right kind of people, who want to find out more about you? And they will be able to work out for themselves whether they think they're a good fit, and then you can help them with that. And the second point is there like a valuable free resource they can get from you as well? And I always say, being British, it's a bit of a cheeky thing to ask for, but actually I'm being being very serious. If people have more exposure to the material that you produce and the technology that you've got, that's a really good way of them getting warmed up to the idea of approaching you, which is quite a nerve-wracking thing sometimes. You don't really know exactly what's on offer until you've had a chance to dive a bit deeper into what you do. So is there a valuable free resource they can get from you as well? And please share us the details on that.
Absolutely. So you can go to readytoinvestclients.com, and what I have there is a 20-minute training that goes really deep in 20 minutes, just like we did here in 7 minutes, right? In 20 minutes, I go really deep into explaining exactly what you need to shift within your content to make sure that you're speaking to people who are ready to buy, how to understand what your angle of mastery is, and how to turn what you do from a nice to have into a need to have. So it's a very deeply power-packed training that goes into all of that, and you'll find it at readytoinvestclients.com, and you will find me everywhere at Fabi Paolini.
Fantastic. I've got a dash. I've got a 20-minute video to watch right now, so I'm not even joking. That sounds really amazing. I'm definitely going to go and check that out.
Yeah, it's really good. You need to watch it. You'll be surprised.
I do need to watch it, and I'm already surprised by the content that you've delivered today. I'm pleasantly surprised, brilliantly surprised. Thank you so much. Fabi Paolini, thank you so much for appearing on Goalbusters.
Thank you so much for having me here.
You're extremely welcome. And remember, everybody, keep goal busting and make your future self proud. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Goalbusters. If you're enjoying it, please subscribe, rate and review it on your favourite podcast platform. Your support is very much appreciated. And if you're ready to boost your online profits, skyrocket your productivity, crush procrastination, and see a positive change in your bank balance, all within just 30 days, this is your opportunity. Take my free 5-day challenge at www.skyrocketyourproductivitychallenge.com.